Hello, this is Winston Cunningham. It is August the 18th, 2025. And what I want to talk about today is letting it happen. When you ask for something, don't get in the way of it coming to you. When it comes to you, you say, well, hey, that ain't quite what I wanted. Well, take what it is because that's a reflective of what you asked for, or it shows your level of understanding of asking for what you want and getting it. So it's a building process, and you may need this experience to show how to get less than what you want so that you can tweak your picture a little bit so the next time will be closer to it. And the more experience you have with getting what you want, you get closer and closer to what comes to you matches the picture that you thought you had. See, we were given everything in the beginning without limitations. All the limitations have come from our own conscious mind, the conscious ego. All limitations come from the conscious mind, not the subconscious mind, or not the superconscious mind, which has the spirit. So everything happens in the conscious mind. Recently, I began to experience getting what I want in a surprising way. Only after I released the demand for having it a particular way. And when you demand something, the universe follows suit with your stupidity and gives you something stupid. See, the universe gives back to you according to what you give. If you're being stupid, then the universe is going to give you something back that make you feel stupid, or to verify how stupid you are. But being stupid is a choice because it's akin to the word ignorance, and what creates ignorance is the process of ignoring. And what I'm talking about today is acknowledging how I've been ignoring and getting past that by paying attention in a better way. And the key word is pay. I talked about that earlier. And it reminds me of some of the first phrase I remember hearing directly from my teacher at the School of Metaphysics was that I needed to learn the difference between causing and forcing. So obviously she could see that my attitude was one of forcing rather than learning how to cause it. And what I'm talking about today is learning how to cause it, because there's a cooperative process. And the steps of creation are 13. And I won't go through all of them today. You can, if you want to know the steps of creation, I do a soul card reading that I explain somewhere on either Weird Valuable Media. You can find it on YouTube, my channel, The Next Step, Winston Cunningham. Down all the way at the bottom, you'll see I explain that. But the soul card reading is I use the steps of creation, the 13 steps, to identify where a person is according to their own soul. So if you want to explore that further, it is a way for a person to understand where they are now in real terms. No, yes. Anyway, that's available. Experience is available so that we can learn to be creators. If I create something, I form a picture in my mind. I say, so be it, which is what amen means, so be it. Then that's transferred to the subconscious mind, which gets busy. It goes through the 4 different levels of subconscious mind, gaining substance, and by the time it gets to the emotional level, the 6th level, it's pushed into the physical. And this is where we become aware of it emotionally and maybe consciously. But this is the real deal. And if we don't understand our emotions, then we tend to react rather than to respond. So in my talk on emotions, if you look that up, I explain all of that, how to begin to respond emotionally rather than to react. See, we got everything built in. So our job, our time is best spent understanding what we have already and to see how to use it. And if we don't know how to use it, then we may be habitually misusing it without knowing. But if you're driving in a different state and you get stopped because of speeding or something, and you tell the policeman, well, I didn't know. Well, see, ignorance of the law is no excuse, so you'll still get a ticket. That's the way the universe works. If you don't know, that's on you. It's been available from day one. It's all available. So start by looking in the mirror 10 minutes a day. But look to see your whole face, but put your attention here in the mirror. And then after 10 minutes, write what you experience. This will be a new way of looking at what is. But keep a notebook separate and do that every day for as long as you need to. How long will you need to? I don't know. Experience will tell you. Anyway, the creating the space to be is like the creation process is like you're taking off in an airplane. So where are you going to land? There has to be a plan. You have to, and this is where activity comes into play. Is the activity is like designating an airport where the plane can land. You've got to give your creations a place to be. That's the importance of activity. But what I'm talking about today is be careful, don't get in the way of it happening because things are shaping up different than what you expect. Relax and let it come together because the universe is trying to work with you. And listen to my talk on the yellow butt bat and apply it to yourself. Because when you tell the universe, I don't like what you're giving me, you're just spitting in the wind. Spitting in the wind. It comes back on you. The universe gives you back in direct proportion to how you're giving. Giving is your intention. What you experience is a result of that intention. It's not rocket science. Now, you can go to church and listen to all kinds of things that'll make you feel better because they're using sympathy rather than empathy. And they'll make you feel better about being bad. Or they'll try to make you feel better about not knowing. And they'll tell you you're not supposed to know. But if you want to stay the same, so be it. That's a choice you just made. And you're still in adolescence when you make that choice. You go to adulthood spiritually when you decide, okay, I know I've created the life to be the way that it is, and if that's so, then I can do better and get about doing better. That's the way it is. The only one you can truly listen to successfully is this one in here. That's why it starts by looking in the mirror. Look within to see what is and work with that. If you need somebody outside yourself to tell you where you are, they'll tell you. But how accurate will it be? You have to verify that through your own experience, either this time or next lifetime, who knows? But as long as you're putting roadblocks up to see the truth, you will have those roadblocks. And removing those roadblocks is a critical part that I'm finding about getting what I really want or moving ahead in this whole process. Because what I'm getting and consciously I may not feel like it's moving ahead, but I may be working through a karmic pattern that I brought from a previous lifetime. That's something I left incomplete or unfinished in a previous time. I still need to understand that. So guess what? The experience will keep coming until I understand that. So not everything that happens to you is a result of what you just thought. It's something that is part of you that you don't recognize, that you brought with you from before. I remember Dr. Connie Rothmel telling me that, and I was in my early 40s when she told me this. She said, if you're going to look at the past, don't just look at the past 40 years. Look at all of it. She's referring to all the past lifetimes. Because every lifetime, what we learn is all we take with us. And that's stored in our own soul, and that accumulates. So however many lifetimes you've had already, you've got a ton of understandings that you could be using now. But you'll not use it now as long as your head is in your rectum. That's like the ostrich putting the head in the sand, ignoring everything. The process of ignoring causes ignorance. And there's many other words for that. But everything you need is available right here. And you discover in bits and pieces, and the bits and pieces I've discovered lately, I've had opportunities to understand it before, but I was a little stubborn. And I call that a family tradition. And that's another talk I did, the family tradition. Because a lot of people absorb things and they just blame it on the family. That's just the way I am. Well, that's the adolescent portion of saying, well, I can't help it. But I'm here to tell you, you can. And if you want to progress, you must. If you want to progress spiritually, understanding more of the self, You must accept responsibility, the ability to respond, developing more abilities to respond, responding with your abilities. That's part of the adulthood and spirituality. But as long as you're saying, oh, I can't help it, please help me, then you're an adolescent. So the foolishness will keep you there. If you want more, then more is available. But there's a process that works, and it may not be your own way. I've got myself into a lot of trouble insisting on doing it my way. I'm learning more about cooperation. Cooperating with, for instance, I do Hong Sau every day, every chance I get, because it's the breath of God comes in through the medulla oblongata, the mouth of God. And I'm responsible for using all the energy that I take in. And I'm taking that seriously, more so as I go. And there's some benefits. One of them is I'm not aging as much as other people my age. There's a reason for that. And the reason goes back to what Jesus said, the truth will set you free. And in the beginning, that's the reason I found School of Metaphysics is because I wasn't getting the truth that I needed from church and school, but I needed it. I wanted it. I had to have it. And when I said I will have it, that's when the School of Metaphysics showed up and showed me how to do the whole thing. No BS. The truth is available. Start looking in here. Do the mirror exercise. Look at yourself in the mirror 10 minutes a day. And as soon as that's over, write about your experience. And do that as long as you need to. You'll know when it's time. Creating the space for what you want to be. If you want to be something, if you want something new in your life, whatever you're wanting to produce, create the space for that. If you think about wanting it, but you're not creating the space for it, when it comes, it'll just pass you by. You didn't see it. If you set forth the intention to recognize it when it comes, then you will recognize it when it comes. Intention sets into motion what you will experience. What you experience comes from a previous intention. So become aware of your intention. And where you're putting up roadblocks to getting what you want, let go of them. Let go of them by saying, well, what else is there? Just that openness, that question. And go listen to my talk on the question, because the question is the most important thing. The second most important thing is getting an answer to that question. And the third most important thing is next question. And once you understand how that process works, it will serve you. And the universe is here to serve you. But if you're otherwise occupied, just having fun and that's it, then okay. It's okay to have fun. But if you're not learning about yourself, you're wasting time. And wasting time, and I talked about that too, killing time or using time. That's another talk I did. So I won't go into that here. You can have anything you want. But getting what you want requires changing your perspective on what it would be like to have that. You've got to create that space and the newness to accept that. You know, if you're going to adopt a child, there's some things you have to put into place to make room for that. So imagine all the things that you would have to put into place to allow for that to happen. Well, that's a similar thing to what I'm talking about. When you imagine wanting something, go a step further and imagine yourself having it enough to go through the steps of what it would be like to respond to having that. Because as Mickey Rooney put it, and I'll probably do another talk on this, because Mickey Rooney said people are not afraid of failing, they're afraid of succeeding. See, a lot of people know how to fail. They know what that feels like, but they don't know if they can handle it if they were doing good. So that's another one to think about, and I'll do another talk on that someday. You know, I make a list of these things. But that stood out, that kind of attached to me when I heard Mickey Rooney say that. And he was a very successful person. Creating what you want, it helps to make the space for it to be here. Just make the space for it. Anyway, I'm Winston Cunningham, and appreciate your attention if that's the case. If not, I won't know it. So have a good day. Thank you.